Alright, August is looking like a legendary MCOC month because we have 6 new 7-stars incoming, and we have 5 tune-ups for those 7-star characters. And one of the champions is CULL. And CULL, he's been a champion that hasn't really been talked about as of recently, mainly because he is 6-star locked, but when he becomes a 7-star, there's going to be a lot of buzz around this champion because he's coming in with a tune-up as well. So today I'm going to show you what he currently looks like, what I want to see changed with this champion, but honestly for the most part, I'm just showing you his potential as it stands right now because this guy is honestly pretty crazy as is. We're going to drop this SP2, no crits, but the damage output is still just absolutely absurd. And yeah, this matchup is going to be over a 500,000 red skull in about under a minute. So that was obviously really good damage output. Now we have this 1 million plus health red skull. And yeah, CULL is of course notorious for having a ramp up. You want to build up his charges, and the more you do that, the more damage you get, the more duration you get on your abilities. You also gain additional benefits like true accuracy. You get those Thanos favor buffs, which are really strong. So yeah, it is very important to ramp up this champion, and that has caused some issues for CULL, especially as of recently, because Battlegrounds is such a focus for so many players, and you can't ramp up champions over the course of fights in Battlegrounds where it's just a singular fight. However, his utility is so good for current tech defenders, it is actually insane, man. He is so good for Red Skull because he just has so many armor breaks, and that is so good for obviously countering his armor ups, but he also has true accuracy if he's ramped up, and he also does have access to route, which I'm pretty sure counters auto block at base. So his utility kit for tech characters as a whole is honestly insane. And you're gonna see that there is one other ability that he has that is so useful, especially these days, and it's gonna honestly blow your mind because I feel not many characters have this, and not many people know that CULL has this. But look at that SP2, look at that 70,000 crit. This is just insane damage. And yeah, that was a 1 million health red skull in about a minute and some change. So that is really good. But now we have Zola, dude. Zola is notorious for being the biggest pain in the tech class today, and CULL has a secret counter where he can just parry any non-contact hit. So Zola, Shuri, you name it, he can parry it. He can parry the unparryable. It is really awesome to see, and for that reason, he is absolutely insane for Zola. And Zola also has pretty substantial base armor rating, but CULL just absolutely wipes through that, so that becomes non-threat, and then that's what happens, man. A 32-second takedown of a rank 4 Zola health pool. That is incredible stuff, and I think that once CULL is tuned up and maybe they give him a Battlegrounds friendly ability, he's gonna be terrorizing Zolas all across the board. It's gonna be so awesome to see, and that's why I feel CULL was the best pick for the Cosmic tune-up, because at base he counters all these tech defenders like it's nothing. He has such strong utility against these tech characters. All he needs is some little tweaks, and he's just gonna be a monster in any piece of content, to be honest. So what do I want for this champion? Because I've been talking a lot of positive stuff about him, but there might be some problems that you've already noticed already. For example, it's been a meme for so long, but his block efficiency is just on the lower end. I think it's one of the lowest in the game. By the way, while I was talking, that was a 1 charge CULL doing a rank 4 arcade in 43 seconds. Keep in mind, that is a rank 6 6-star CULL versus a rank 4 7-star arcade. That is insane, man. That is really insane. Now we have this other arcade here, but like I was saying, block efficiency really isn't all that. It could be tuned up, and I want them to buff his base block proficiency stat, because if they do that, it gives us the ability to explore his other stat focuses, such as crit rating, prowess, anything like that, and instead of like having to pick the block rating upgrade like immediately because he obviously needs it, we get to have a bit more fun with this stat focus. So like that's one thing I want to see. But with tune-ups, they don't really like buff the base stats too often, unfortunately. I think the only one that got one was like Punisher 2099. I could be wrong though, I'm pretty sure he got one, but yeah, it's just not a very common occurrence. But yeah, in this fight we get to like heavy attack very frequently, so the armor breaks are just absolutely stacking. And since CULL Obsidian is a heavy attack friendly champion, like that's all he does basically, it makes countering arcade tokens very easy. And so here I go for another heavy attack, I cancel into the SP3, and check out the damage with the route buff. It is insane, and it one-shots the arcade. That is silly, man. His SP3 is one of the craziest in this game. It is so fun to fire off. But yeah, that was insane. That was obviously a bit unreal. But now let's talk about one other thing I want to change. So CULL Obsidian currently works where like his Thanos favor buff doesn't have insane duration, but it pauses with like your basic attacks, right? And I think it's just like any attack actually. One thing I want to see is I want to see like that interact with relics as well. I want it to pause during strikers, but not only that, I want them to just increase the duration, because honestly, as it stands right now, it's a bit too stressful to manage it like perfectly, and you have to be like really aggressive for it to line up well with like your SP2 or your route. So as it stands right now, I think it's a bit too stressful to try to manage and try to incorporate into his rotation. But if it was like buffed by, let's say, like 50% duration, it'd make things so much better. Or if it like scaled with his persistent charges, which it might already, but it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like it scales, to be honest. And I think one final thing is to maybe start with some bonus charges in Battlegrounds. I think that like from what I've shown you today, he is fine at one charge. Like that arcade fight, for example, he absolutely crushed it in 40 something seconds. And like if it's a rank 4 versus rank 4, it'd probably be like a sub 30 or like 35 second like matchup. It is quite insane, right? But just in case like he does need that like extra damage bump, having him start with like 3 wouldn't be too broken, because at 5 is when things get like really crazy. And like especially like here when he's like this ramped up, it gets absurdly crazy, and he's doing 30-second fights of like what, 700,000 health opponents. It's just silly, man. Like once this champion is ramped up, he is just broken. I cannot imagine the rank 4, but maybe we can imagine it if I do a fully boosted, fully decked out video, which I will do if this video gets 100 likes. So yeah, if you want to see that, be sure to press the like button and get that milestone so we can have some more fun with this champion. And yeah, I really just cannot imagine it though, because look at this damage output. We're gonna drop the heavy attack, she's gonna drop her heavy attack, doesn't matter. I go back in, drop the SP2, 94,000 crits, man. That is just, dude, that's not fair. That's not fair, man. This is Act 9, Chapter 1, and he's just crushing it. That's just a bit absurd, dude. That is that is so silly. But yeah, now we have this Nebula. This is like a much more calm matchup. It's not super fast. It's the beginning of the lane, and there's like pretty much no damage enhancement, so it's not like as fun as that other one was, but it's still pretty calm. It's Mixmaster, so CULL Obsidian, he doesn't have an immediate evade counter. He does have to get his charges going to get that true accuracy, and once he gets that, then he is a very good evade counter. But as it stands right now, just one charge, nothing too crazy here. And I do want to like point out his awakened ability, because let's say it's just like you get one of these champions in a selector and you just pick CULL Obsidian, you have no gem, it's just him straight up. As it stands right now, his awakened ability is pretty good. What it does is it allows him to activate his route multiple times in the fight, and when it expires, it lets him get a massive fury buff that can really scale up his damage output, especially in these like one charge fights where like you really want to get any source of damage possible. So having the route multiple times and having that fury buff, which is really potent at max sig, it really lets him just like be a whole lot easier to play in these beginning matchups. But like once he's ramped up, the dupe isn't really too necessary, because you don't really need more than one route because he just does that much damage. So yeah, CULL Obsidian, in like some cases the sig is really good, because at Sig 200, the route cooldown is just so broken. It is so short, like to the point where CULL Obsidian, if you play your cards right, is literally only gonna have his route or his fury buff active, and like it just alternates because it's that crazy of a cooldown. Because like if he's max sig, you get a 10-second cooldown, I'm pretty sure, and the route buff lasts a pretty long time, and the fury buff lasts a duration that scales with how many hits you did in route. So as you can see, the fury buff is currently active. It lasts a pretty long time, but like I said, maybe you don't need multiple routes, because look at CULL Obsidian's damage right now. He's gonna just finish this fight anyway. It is so silly. It is absolutely silly. So maybe the sig isn't all that when CULL Obsidian is just already broken, dude. It is so crazy. This champion is just so crazy. Now we have a 10 charge CULL. We have a Hulkbuster here. This is one of his perfect matchups. It's honestly pretty iconic if you've seen the Avengers movies, because yeah, these guys were beefing alright. It was a very fun time to watch these two go at it. And you know what, man? I've always been Team CULL. He's just cooler. Look at him. He has like that jumbo hammer that's so awesome to just like swing around. It's honestly really fun to play this champion because his animations are so good. But yeah, we're gonna go for the route in just a second. Actually no, it's already active. That's why we're doing so much damage. And yeah, this matchup is pretty much done because the fury buff is now active, and just like one more heavy attack should do it, or just one more hit in general. That was like 30 something seconds. And yeah, we have one more fight here today. We have the Silver Surfer boss. I'm pretty sure I've covered everything that I wanted to cover in this video. I actually made some notes for this video, so I'll take some applause right now, please, because yeah, I made notes for this boy. I covered all the changes I want, which is honestly not many, because as you can see in this gameplay video, he is broken still. He is like, he's actually broken still, man. He does so much damage in like such little time. It is so silly. And like the only reason this fight isn't going to be sub 1 minute is because it's a 1 million health Silver Surfer, and we have a 6-star CULL. If this CULL was 7-star rank 4, this wouldn't be a fair matchup. It would just be so easy for him. And that's why I feel like the tune-up for CULL might not be as crazy as people expect, and you know what? That's okay. And honestly, hot take incoming, I think he's still a good champion. He's just a good champion that was built in a different era of MCOC. And that era isn't really like meshing well with this current era, but with a tune-up that does give him some abilities that meshes with this era very well, you're just gonna have a god tier character, like maybe a beyond god tier character, because you could argue that CULL Obsidian right now is a god tier champion with like, you know, his 10 charge potential and everything, and like once he's a 7-star champion we'll really get to see that. But yeah, he's just like good, dude. He's just a really good character, really fun to play. His like one drawback is that block efficiency, but with a stat focus or just like a buff to that at base, that could change everything for this champion. And that SP3 was just silly, bro. Like, what was that, dude? What was that SP3 damage? And yeah, this matchup is done. 52,000 light attack. That is insane. That was 200,000 plus bursts on that SP3, by the way. So yeah, CULL Obsidian, man, he is going to be making waves. I am so excited for a 7-star, and it's going to be so great to see what they do change with him, because honestly, as it stands right now, he's pretty dang good. So anything that we get that's like an upgrade, it's just going to make this guy even crazier. So that's going to be fun to see. Let me know your thoughts on 7-star CULL Obsidian. Who should I cover next in the Legend Celebration event? And yeah, that's about it for me.